I would expect to receive information from people that have worked in different areas, arid zones throughout the world, and perhaps some of the solutions that have worked and some of the things that haven't worked. I think we have to learn from mistakes when we're dealing with solutions. If we don't tell about our mistakes, then people don't learn and they recreate the same mistakes. And as I've gone through life, I know that mistakes and telling people about them are much more important than telling them about the successes, because quite often the successes are chocolate coated, whereas your mistakes you cannot chocolate coat. And because of that, if we think back into the past, and good things happened in Australia, in the steam engines, when steam engines were around, they had to travel through the arid zone. They needed water. How did we get water for those steam engines? Well, they bundled systems so that any rainfall that fell was channeled off into an underground cistern and tank. We've lost all that. Because steam engines disappeared, the technology of trying to save water in an arid zone disappeared for convenience. So that was just one aspect. People don't believe that we're now looking at trying to support human life in arid zone, and that's a very difficult situation. And it varies on scale. If we look at small developments versus medium to large, a small one household needs a well, but they need to manage it. And the well is not an infinite supply, and it has to be recharged from somewhere. And it's about managing the arid zone is about managing droughts, which are long periods, and floods, which are small. But you've got to capture the flood flows so that they can then be used during droughts. And it could be in underground cisterns, it could be using sand dams, or in the wadis in Oman, where you actually put concrete, small barrage, a small dam across the river. It fills up with rocks, but during times of flood, the water comes behind and then drains back into the aquifers. So there you've got a source of recharge. So the real problem I see with arid zones is actually knowing the recharge, because you've got to have an education program to teach the people using the water that they have only got a supply as how much in terms of recharge of their supply. So it's a supply-demand issue. We've got to cut down demands as best we can, but you've got to have enough for health, obviously, and you've got to have good potable supply so you don't have health problems, but then you also got to feed your stock, and that can be a second-class water. So there's some of the issues that I see are extremely important when you're dealing with a small amount of water resource in an arid zone.